Welcome back, everybody. We're back at the barn today, going back to work. I had to go get me a bigger crowbar. My little crowbar just wasn't going to cut it prying all these boards off. So, got me a big pry bar, and we're going to see how this goes. My plan is I'm going to go up to the top here, start at the top, and work my way down, prying all these 1x off the 2x6s. And once I get those down, well, we're going to see how that goes first. We're just going to start there and try not to fall off the barn. Well, this isn't my favorite thing in the world to do, but it is working. I just got to watch out for rickety, rotten boards. Just keep going down through here. I'm mostly just using a hammer. It seems to be working a little better than the crowbar, just beating these things, pulling nails out when I need to. So keep going down through here, and hopefully I don't fall through. This is a lot of work. I got all the high stuff pulled off on this side. So all the tall stuff here is off on the 1x cross pieces, and I'm down to just the lean-to. And this is a lot shorter, so I think I'm gonna hit this from the bottom side. I'm gonna pull out the big hammer. See if I can't just knock these off from down here. See if that'll be faster than sitting up top. And a couple notes. Actually, one of our viewers commented this, and it was a great point. When you're taking apart something like this, or anything for that matter, and you're pulling out a whole bunch of nails and screws and stuff, you'll save yourself and somebody else a lot of time if you collect them as you go, as you're pulling them out, which I've been doing as best I can. There's a lot that I still have dropped, and I'll try to clean them up after, but here's all the nails and screws I pulled out of the metal. I got a couple other piles sitting around, but I just took a tool pouch, put it on, collected those as I pulled them out. The more I can keep from hitting the ground, the less flat tires someone else is going to have on their tractor, truck, whatever later on. And also, like all these boards I got laying around here, which these I've been tossing down, so obviously I just gotta be careful. But when you're walking around here, got all these nails sticking up. So a good practice is just to flip them over, nail side down. Then you don't have to pay quite as close attention, but also just pay really close attention when you're walking around something like this. Step on one of those, it'll go right through your shoe into the bottom of your foot, and it won't feel very good. So just a couple notes for you kids out there to thinking you want to tear down a barn sometime, or an old house or anything like that. It's a great way to get material. Old houses, sometimes people just need to get rid of them. You could get them for next to nothing and tear them down, get a bunch of good rough sawn or old pine to build chicken coops, barns, whatever out of. So lots of good materials and those kind of things, and sometimes people need them removed for cheap. So it's a good way for a young guy with some energy to get some materials and build something for himself, even if it's just a workshop or something. So I'm gonna grab the big sledge and see how this goes, knocking these out from below. Another thing for you young guys to know, if you're tearing something apart like this down, if you're knocking out nails, you don't want to hit the board right here. You want to hit it as close to the nail as possible. Because if you hit it here, the flex of this board is going to use up a lot of the energy and force you're putting into it. You want to direct that right there, as close to that nail as possible. Get as much energy straight to where you need to get that nail pulled out. And in this case, the nails are either coming out or the heads are ripping through these boards, because a lot of these boards are rotten. But if you've never done anything like this, it's a good thing to know. Now, if you've watched your grandpa do stuff like this, or your dad over the years, you probably already knew that. It's a good way to learn things, is by watching. Half the things I know, I learned by watching somebody. Maybe more than half. Well, I got all those off, making some solid progress there. All the 1x's are off this side. And I got another piece of advice for you, especially for you young guys. I actually heard this on a YouTube channel the other day. I don't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up, put it in the description. From a guy that was a construction guy for a long time. He knows this because he's seen a thing or two. And it was a very good saying that I thought. And he said, hurry up when you can. And that when you can is an extremely important part of that. You probably heard the saying, fast is slow, slow is fast. You know, take your time, make sure it's right. And those are all true. But there's many times in many different jobs where there's times where you can hurry up when you can. I've been working service for years, doing service calls and things. And one way to make your service calls go faster or make your business better, walk fast. When you're going to your truck to get your tools, walk fast to your truck, walk fast back. There's no harm in doing it. All it does is make you get to your truck faster and get back inside faster. And also be thinking quick when you're on your way to a job. Be thinking about what you need. That way you can grab it out of your truck. The fewer trips you make in and out of a building to your truck, the faster you get a job done. It's little things like that. You can walk fast and it won't hurt the quality of your work. It'll just speed it up and it'll make you better. And some people would probably live under the mindset of, I'm getting paid by the hour. I'm going to move as slow as possible and I'm going to make more money that way. The problem with that is you're going to lose that job or another job in the future when someone that doesn't have that mindset comes in and bids it cheaper, gets it done better and faster because they didn't take their sweet time. So it pays off in the end. Sometimes it's more work. I just thought that was a good saying. Hurry up when you can. You just have to make sure you apply it correctly. All right, it's starting to get dark, but I think I'm going to try to take down some of these 2x4s over here on that side. I don't really feel like starting this side. It is a lot of work getting up here, bending over, makes my back hurt, and I don't feel like pulling any more of these off. But I can take the hammer and start knocking those 2x4s off over there. And then I want to get them all stacked up. So I'm going to stack up a lot of my lumber so I can just bring the tractor out here with forks, pick it up, put it on the trailer, pick it up, put it on the trailer, and load it up really fast that way in large quantities because I can carry a lot on my trailer. So I'm just going to stack up the like materials. Most of these 1-bys are going to be junk. They'll be burned at some point. But I'll stack up the good ones in a pile, stack up the bad ones in a pile, that kind of thing. So start pulling this apart. All right, guys, I made some solid progress, but I'm quitting for the night. I'll come back later. Well, it's another day out here at the barn. I got a little bit of time left before the sun goes down today, so see what I can get done today. And we'll work on this side, get all the 1-bys pulled off this side, since I already got the other side done. And that's going to be my goal. I don't know if I have enough time, but I'm going to try to get all the 1-bys pulled off of this side. Well, guys, progress is being made. I got this lean-to down. So we're down to just the middle main original barn area here. Other side, the lean-to's down. Got all the 1x just laying all over the place. I got a lot of cleanup to do. So I got to figure out what the next step is. If I want to go ahead and start trying to get the 2x6s off of this area, or if I want to get all the rest of this cleaned up so I can bring a tractor and work this out of a tractor bucket. I think that would work, or bring my ladder. It's such a mess in here right now, I can't hardly set anything up. I don't think I really need to be climbing on it much more. I do need to get the metal off the ends. So that is probably the next step, is to pull the metal off both ends. There's metal in that end too. So I think that's my next step, is to get the rest of that metal on the ground, and then we're down to just the main framing of the original barn portion. Made a lot of progress, but there's still quite a bit to do, and I got to get all this loaded up and hauled to the house and then sorted and organized and nails pulled out. Still lots of work to do. Alright guys, I think I'm going to call it a day. It's getting late, it's starting to sprinkle a little bit. I got to bring a bigger ladder so I can get the rest of this metal off this side. Still got to get the other side. So still a lot to do, but making solid progress. So I think I'll come back later. I hope I can get it in one more trip, but I think it's going to be at least 2 before I can finish it. I think I'll be able to get a bunch of stuff that's on the ground loaded up. Maybe get the rest of the metal down in a trip, and then I'll be able to get the rest of the barn down in a trip and hopefully loaded. So at least a couple more either full days or maybe 3 or 4 partial days. So we'll get it though, making progress, and then we'll be able to use a lot of these materials. Some of them are rougher than I hoped. Several of the 2x4s over here broke when they fell, and over here, and there's quite a few that have, there's a bee that bores into wood, and like, I don't know, I guess it makes nests in there or something, but there's quite a few of these that have where the bees have bored into them, and it's deteriorated the wood quite a bit and weakened it. And so there's quite a few of the 2x4s that are pretty rough and won't really be usable, but I'll be able to salvage enough out of it to get what I need for my chicken pen at least, and I should have some leftovers. There's still some good wood here, but some of them, the ends are kind of bad. These are all rough sawn right here. You can see like this one, it's just snapped when it hit the ground. So it means it probably had a weak spot in it. But there's still a lot of 2x6s up here. So I'll have plenty of wood to build what I need. But a little disappointing seeing how the quality of the wood once you get in there a little further. Some of it's really not that great, but it's the nature of getting used stuff. So I'm going to call it a day. I think I'll wrap up this video here. Might be a little bit short, but that's just going to be what it is. Appreciate y'all sticking around for this not super exciting stuff. It's exciting for me. It's a lot of work. Be glad to have it done. But we're getting there. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. This is the perfect example of why Sarah's driving scares me a little bit. It makes me nervous. Yeah, she was trying to back in, but ended up in the yard, and the yard is really soft because of the rain. So now I gotta pull it out. Except the tow truck's alternator went out on the way home, so I gotta charge up the battery before I can run the winches on the tow truck. never ending.